Hey everybody, Whitney Labrie here, and as many of you may already know, I've been working on a dollhouse for a magician to use in his act. Today I thought it'd be really fun if I took you on my almost 200-hour journey from box to finish. So when the client first came to me, he told me that he wanted a Addams Family-esque house. So just the vibes of it, but not an actual Addams Family house. And then we walked around the local dollhouse shop in my area, which is Larry Ann's Small Wonders, and we looked at a couple finishes on some houses that he liked and the interior. Now this was a room box library that he really liked. He liked these walnut finishes, the burgundy wallpapers. He liked this walnut flooring here, and then he really liked those doors that you can see in the background, and then the double sconced lighting there as well. And so that was kind of the interior vibes that he wanted with an Addams Family-esque exterior of the house. Now the client picked out this really awesome Victorian Painted Lady by Real Good Toys. And this for me will be my first Real Good Toys dollhouse. I typically do tend to purchase and build the green leaf dollhouses because I enjoy their style, but this one is pretty awesome. I'm going to show you why here in a little bit. But one of the things I talked to with the client was making some modifications to the front to get more of that Addams Family feel, but really he liked the house pretty much exactly how it was. So I did add a few extras along the way, and I'll of course point those out to you. So let's pop this box open and let's see what we've got inside. Now the first thing that I noticed, you guys, is just the amazing quality of the dollhouse materials. Everything is pretty much ready to go, ready to glue and put together. The MDF is in really great condition, and really pretty much I don't have to sand anything if I don't want to. I could just put it together exactly how it is, but it's all incredibly organized. It comes with everything, including all of the windows, the window inserts, the doors, the staircases, everything basically. The only thing that it does not come with is interior doors and the stair rail itself. You have to build that, or a banister if you want to include that. In our case, we're not doing it because he wanted to have these really open floor plans. So we're not going to do anything to impede it anymore. So you can see here right away that everything is nicely packaged. I started to put together just the base. I was originally building this inside of Larry Ann's Dollhouse shop, and later I moved it, and we'll get into why I did that. So being that the client really liked that burgundy wallpaper in the library, I wanted to choose some wallpaper that was reminiscent of that, but this dollhouse does have 6 rooms, and so I did really want to create some variety, of course, and some additional interest than just doing the same wallpaper throughout the entire dollhouse. So we did choose this one here for the living room. Has some blues in it, some golds, and then burgundy. This is the kitchen, which probably is one of my favorite wallpapers in the house. This one is for the bedroom. It's a nice burgundy and gold combination. This is my favorite wallpaper in the house. This is actually for the bathroom, which is again gold, blue, and burgundy. This one is for the upstairs attic on the 3rd floor in the tower room, and then this is some brick, some exposed brick wallpaper that we're going to use in the attic. Now, even though the dollhouse is not even built at all, I went ahead and started to cut down my wallpaper, and the reason I'm doing this is because this dollhouse is going to have quite a bit of electricity, so the wallpaper will not be able to be installed until the electricity is in. But I wanted to go ahead and start cutting down the wallpaper because of course that will make it much easier to install later when the house is already built, and instead of trying to get around crazy corners. Leaving a little top edge and side edges just in case I needed a little extra, and then I began to label all of them for future use. For the flooring, I'm going to be using this Hanley House unfinished wood flooring because I will be staining it in this dark walnut stain. As you know, the dollhouse will be used in a magic act, but the house will have the purpose of telling a story, and the magician will be adding items to it that will be the magic part of the house. So I'm not divulging any secrets here, but I do want to talk about lighting because there is a lot happening with the lighting. So the client wanted 4 separate lighting switches for the house. The first one included 6 lights, 1 in the attic interior, 1 in the bathroom, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the attic main room, 1 in the bedroom main room, and then 1 in the living room main room. So 6 lights on the first switch. The second switch would include 4 lights, 1 in each of the main front windows. The third switch would just be one light in the tower. And the fourth switch would include 4 lights on the exterior of the dollhouse, 2 right outside of the balcony door and 2 outside of the front main door. So I'm not going to go into all the detail. I actually did not do the lighting. The dollhouse did have to be routed out, and see all those spaghetti, what look like spaghetti, those are all the wires that had to go into this. And I do need to give a shout out to my husband, because he's actually the one that did all of the hard wiring, the soldering, and all the other extra details in the lighting department. It was insane how much detail went into lighting this dollhouse. In the meantime, while he did that, I did begin to paint the outside in this home decor, this folk art home decor chalk paint in dark gray. And then you can see here, as the lighting began to be completed, I was able to begin to install the wallpaper and all of the flooring. And I did choose to put the flooring in 2 different ways, vertical and horizontal, just to add a little bit of extra interest to the dollhouse. And then you can see from the outside, it's kind of coming along. I did a dark gray and a light gray for the exterior paint. And then here you can see even more of the dollhouses coming together, more of the wallpapering. For the ceiling, I did not install a ceiling paper. I did just paint it in a brown, a burgundy, and a gold highlight. And then you can see that these staircases have also been stained. I did those in a very dark walnut finish. I wallpapered the back of them, and then I'll be installing them soon. So at this point, I needed the client to come in and make some final decisions on the windows and doors, because he had originally talked about not having any actual plastic or plexiglass in the windows so that you could put your hand through. Now, the windows that come with the dollhouse are really great. That you have everything that you need. You have all of the trim that you put together, inside and outside trim, and then the plastic windows. The doors are also completely put together, the 2 outside doors, I should say, and they also come with a glass insert or a plexiglass insert, and all you have to do is paint them. In this case, their outside are going to be black, the inside are going to be brown. I did buy the Houseworks interior doors. I bought 3 of them, and then here's what those doors look like on the inside once they're installed. Those are the Housework doors. I added 3 of those, and then I added some really cute hardware also. For the front doors, he wanted a frosted glass effect, so I just accomplished that by mixing up some Mod Podge and glaze and putting it on the windows. Then I kind of swirled my finger in it to kind of give a swirly pattern, and then let that dry. For the top attic window, he wanted a red tinted film to give a nice red hue, so you can see that. And then for added discretion, we did a lace curtain in all of the windows so that you couldn't quite see inside. I didn't do true lace curtains. I just glued lace to the interior trim, so he wouldn't have to worry about bars or anything hanging down when he adds his other special effects. And here's some more photos of the inside so far. You can see I've also added trim. Most of the base trim is in. Some of the top trim needs to go in still. And I love the way the light shines through those curtains. It really does give it a nice realistic look. Now, one of the main concerns about this house from the very beginning was the weight of it. They're really great houses, they're really good, but they are very heavy. And this is going to be a house that is going to be traveling at least once a year for a magic show. So I needed to add a base to it. I thought that would be really fun. I found this paper brick. Obviously, it's very lightweight. It's just paper. It looks really good. This is actually a product made by Volmer, and it was originally intended for model trains to create tunnels and that sort of thing. So I went ahead and cut it down, glued it to the base of this dollhouse. I think that it really makes a great impact. It did not take very long. It's lightweight and it's already painted and it already looks real. So it was just an easy application that made a big difference in my opinion. For the balcony, the dollhouse comes with a banister that runs along the top balcony there. I decided instead to add this plastic wrought iron gate to the top to make it look like the balcony, also giving it more of an Addams Family vibe. It's also again plastic, so it's lightweight versus the wooden railing that came with it. Now at this point, this is where we're at, and I'm going to start adding the trim to the outside of the house. I also added a few embellishments to the tower windows, the 3rd story tower windows. There was room for those, so I did purchase a few embellishments and I went ahead and glued those in place. And then this is where we're at, including the front stairs. I also added the front porch stairs, but I did not not glue them in place because the other issue is the depth of the dollhouse. I don't want to glue them on because he actually may not even use them. So at this point, the dollhouse has been pretty much taking up my entire dining room. And the reason it was in my dining room is so that my husband could work on the electricity between his work schedule and all. I'm almost done with the house, and I call the client, and at that point he tells me that he's changed some things in the way he's going to present the story, and so now he wants it to be more like the house from Clue. And he asked me to add 3 walls to the inside. So now we're totally going in a different direction. He's not as concerned about weight anymore. And so now I need to build 3 walls, but I've already added the base trim, the top trim to the house. All of the wallpaper is in. I'm out of at least one of the wallpapers. So he does bring me over a board that I could use to cut down and put in the walls. And where you see the red line there, that's where he wants one of the walls. And then on where the L is in pink, that's where he wants the library to be. And he wants me to use library or book wallpaper. Okay, which is fine. He's the client. I want to make him happy. So I went ahead and I did that, and I was able to have the boards cut where they kind of accommodated for the trim already being in. And then I just wallpapered them and then trimmed them out also. But on the first floor, I was able to match the wallpaper. I had a little bit extra and then trimmed it out. I didn't do full walls, so that way it felt still cohesive within the dollhouse. And the bedroom area was the area where I had run out of that wallpaper, so I just did a really thin gold stripe that would match the gold in the wallpaper, the gold flowers. And then there's that bookcase wallpaper that he wanted me to add, so that's on the one interior wall. It's finally time to add the shingles, and so I'm going to be using liquid nails for this. Highly recommended, but just know that it does not dry clear, so you do need to be careful about how much you use so you don't get too much overspill. The other thing that I did was I used this really great Furniture Clinic wood stain, and I did buy it in the color slate. I don't want it pure black, but I do want it more like a charcoal black. Basically, I gloved up and I poured some of the stain into a Ziploc bag, and I would throw about 20 to 30 shingles in the bag at a time, and I would stain them that way. And then I would dry them out on top of a cardboard box here that you can see. And that was pretty much how I did the shingles. I love that technique because each shingle is going to be slightly different, and it really makes for some perfect, realistic variations in each wood shingle once they start getting glued to the roof. Now, adding shingles, I start from the bottom, and I don't usually do an overhang. I'll maybe glue one shingle to the roof, and then I'll draw a line across that. That's my starting line. And then from my starting line, I go 1 inch up. This will allow for every shingle to be layered as they go on up to the pitch of the roof. And then once I thought I was done, I needed more shingles, of course, because I still needed to do the tower portion of the rooftop. And then once that was finally completed, the next step was distressing the front of the dollhouse. It actually looked fine the way that it was, but again, we're trying to do a little bit more of a haunted vibe kind of feel. So I took a light cream, and then I just dry brushed it over all of the siding. I did some areas heavier than other areas to just give, again, variation in color. And then I did take a couple different shades of brown. I watered them down and I added them to the lighter gray sections, just focusing on making sure that the outer edges where dirt or grime would tend to build up were really getting a little bit more color than say the center areas. Then for all of the black, I did take a dark burgundy, a dark red color, and I did go over that in a reddish brown color to kind of, again, distress those areas and give them some highlights, lowlights, and some variation in color. And I also did that with the stairs. And this is the completed look. And then finally, I wanted to show you, now that the house is completed, what the electricity, what the lighting looks like. Everything is on this handy dandy remote, so all we have to do is push the buttons, and then magically the lights begin. So here it is from the front. And then here it is from the interior. Obviously, it's hard to see the exterior lights from this view. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was really fun to do a start to finish kind of video for you. And I hope that you really enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. I want to say really quickly too that I hope that you don't think that I was upset with the client for switching gears on me. That is completely fine with me. It's totally up to the client. I want the client to be happy. As you can imagine, the house building is not the only thing I have going on in my life, and I have other projects that I really needed to get to, and so I just had a moment of feeling a little anxiety just because I was concerned about the quality, adding those walls because of the trim and the wallpaper not matching, and then also just timing. So it was really just about anxiety for me. But I really did love doing this house for this magician, and I know when he came in, he was super excited about it too, and it was just really a joy for me to see him light up when he saw the house. So it's off now, it's been taken, and I'm hoping to get a little glimpse of the house in the future and see it in action. And if I get the opportunity to see that and also video that, I will certainly make some sort of short video so that you can see it too. So thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. It was a pleasure. And remember, you guys, in this crazy life, it is the little things that matter. Bye.